Looking across the history of powerful empires, none has ever matched the United States in the same way. Though it is separated from other continents by vast oceans, it has been able to exercise an extraordinary depth of control over the entire world. The United States covers 9.37 million square kilometers, making it the fourth largest country in the world. So how did it grow into the world's leading economic and military power? I am making a series of videos to explain the history of America's development. This is the third episode. After several years of war, the 13 colonies finally broke free from British rule and won independence. The Federal Republic of the United States of America was born, and the work of organizing the country's territory began immediately, using the 13 original colonies that founded the nation as its base, and adding newly acquired territory. New states continued to be established. By 1796, the United States had formed a two-party governing system. One side was the Federalist Party, founded by Alexander Hamilton. The other was the Democratic Republican Party, founded by Thomas Jefferson and James Madison. In 1798, the Mississippi Territory was established. In 1800, the Northwest Territory was divided, giving birth to the Indiana Territory. In March 1801, Thomas Jefferson was elected the third President of the United States. The following year, Georgia's territory was divided in two, establishing the state's present-day boundaries. On March 1, 1803, Thomas Jefferson signed an act of Congress approving the Ohio Constitution, making Ohio the 17th state of the United States. At that time, Napoleon needed to raise funds to launch another war against Britain. He also believed the Louisiana region was too vast to govern effectively, so he decided to sell Louisiana to the United States. The sale price was about $15 million at the time. The territory covered roughly 2.14 million square kilometers, almost doubling the land area of the United States. In 1804, the Orleans Territory was carved out of the Louisiana District. A section of territory in western Georgia was incorporated into the Mississippi Territory. Spain, meanwhile, formally established the province of Alta California in the southwestern part of its North American holdings, bringing it into the colonial map of New Spain. In 1805, the Louisiana District was renamed the Louisiana Territory. The Indiana Territory was divided, and the Michigan Territory was established. Not long after the American Revolutionary War ended, the northern states were the first to pass the earliest abolition laws. By 1805, most northern states had abolished slavery. In the first half of the 19th century, movements calling for the abolition of slavery in other states gradually arose. However, with the invention of the cotton gin, the cotton industry in the American South expanded rapidly, causing the South's demand for enslaved labor to increase sharply. In 1809, the Indiana Territory was divided again. In 1810, American settlers in West Florida launched an uprising against Spanish rule, and most of the Spanish colonial territory was eventually incorporated into the Orleans Territory. In 1812, the Louisiana Territory was renamed the Missouri Territory. The Orleans Territory joined the Union and became the 18th state of the United States, Louisiana. That same year, Britain supported Native American tribes in North America and opposing the establishment of American settlements in the Northwest Territory. This intensified tensions between Britain and the United States and ultimately triggered the War of 1812. The war lasted until 1815, when the two countries signed a peace treaty that was approved by the U.S. Congress. In 1816, the Indiana Territory joined the Union and became the 19th state of the United States, Indiana. James Monroe was elected the 5th President of the United States. This marked the beginning of the era of good feelings in American history, reflecting Americans' sense of national mission and their desire for unity. In December of the same year, the Mississippi Territory was divided. Its western section joined the Union and became the 20th state of the United States, Mississippi. Its eastern section became the Alabama Territory. In 1818, the southern part of the Illinois Territory became the state of Illinois. while the northern section was incorporated into the Michigan Territory. That same year, the United States and Britain signed the London Convention of 1818, establishing the 49th parallel north as the boundary between the two countries. This boundary extended from what is now northern Minnesota to the Rocky Mountains. Also in 1818, the U.S. Army invaded Florida and took control of the region. The following year, the Adams-on-Oise Treaty was signed. The United States formally gave up its territorial claims to the Oregon region, while the United States and Britain obtained territorial rights there and began joint administration. Still in 1819, the Alabama Territory joined the Union and became the 22nd state of the United States. The Missouri Territory was divided, and the Arkansas Territory was established. The following year, the northern part of Massachusetts broke away and became the 23rd state of the United States, Maine. In 1821, part of the Missouri Territory joined the Union and became the 24th state of the United States, Missouri. Also in 1821, Mexico won independence. Under the Adams-on-Oise Treaty, the border between the United States and Mexico was redrawn. Spain ceded Florida to the United States, and the United States paid Spain $5 million. The following year, the Florida Territory was formally established. Around 1824, America's first party system came to an end. In 1828, the second party system began. The Democratic-Republican Party split, and today's Democratic Party was born from it. In 1830, the U.S. Congress passed the Indian Removal Act, authorizing the president to negotiate treaties with Native American tribes to exchange native lands in the Southeast for lands west of the Mississippi River. The purpose was to drive the native peoples of southeastern North America out of their homelands. In 1834, all the unorganized land from the Louisiana Purchase was incorporated into the Michigan Territory. That same year, a revolution broke out in the Mexican state of Texas. In 1836, the Republic of Texas was formally established. That same year, the Arkansas Territory joined the Union and became the 25th state of the United States, Arkansas. The Michigan Territory was divided, and the Wisconsin Territory was established. The following year, the Michigan Territory joined the Union and became the 26th state, Michigan. Also in 1837, the city of Houston was established and became the temporary capital of the Republic of Texas. In 1838, the Wisconsin Territory was divided, and the Iowa Territory was established. In the 1840s, the Second Great Awakening, which had begun in 1790, reached its peak and gave rise to a number of reform movements, including the abolitionist movement and the temperance movement. In March 1845, the Florida Territory joined the Union and became the 27th state of the United States. In December of the same year, the Republic of Texas was annexed by the United States and joined the Union as the 28th state, Texas. In 1846, the United States and Britain signed the Oregon Treaty, extending the boundary between British North America and the United States, along the 49th parallel north to the Strait of Georgia. At the time, the cultural idea of manifest destiny was widely accepted. It held that North American settlers were destined to expand across the entire North American continent. Driven by American expansionism, the Mexican-American War broke out in 1846. The cause of the war was the struggle between the two sides over northern Mexican territory. In December of the same year, the Iowa Territory joined the Union and became the 29th state of the United States, Iowa. In 1848, the Mexican-American War ended in an American victory. The two sides signed the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, forcing Mexico to cede its northern territory to the United States. That same year, the California Gold Rush began. Carpenter James Wilson Marshall discovered gold in what is now the Coloma area. The news drew about 300,000 people to California from across the United States and from other parts of the world. Still in 1848, part of the Wisconsin Territory joined the Union and became the 30th state of the United States, Wisconsin. The following year, the Minnesota Territory was established. In 1850, the New Mexico Territory and the Utah Territory were created. The California region joined the Union and became the 31st state of the United States, California. In 1853, part of the Oregon Territory was carved out to establish the Washington Territory. In 1854, Mexican President Antonio López de Santa Anna sold a section of northern Mexican territory to the United States. This transaction became known as the Gadsden Purchase, and U.S. territory expanded further. That same year, the Kansas-Nebraska Act was passed. The act established the Kansas Territory and the Nebraska Territory. Its purpose was to open new land for the construction of a transcontinental railroad. At the same time, the act also established Indian reservations as resettlement areas for Native Americans. Abolitionist activists who opposed the Kansas-Nebraska Act founded the Republican Party. Together with the Democratic Party, it became one of the two major political parties in the United States today. Still in 1854, Native Americans attacked 31 U.S. soldiers, triggering a series of Indian Wars. Part of the Minnesota Territory joined the Union and became the 32nd state of the United States, Minnesota. By the mid-19th century, the expansion of slavery had become the central conflict in the United States. The American North opposed slavery and pursued abolitionist policies. Some people believed that owning slaves was a sin and demanded the immediate abolition of slavery. The American South, however, generally supported slavery, insisting that slavery benefited white people economically, socially, and culturally. Southern society, built on slavery, accumulated enormous wealth by producing cotton and other agricultural products. Some areas even profited from the internal slave trade. Supporters of slavery argued that if the slave-based economy suddenly ended, it would deal a severe economic blow to the South, because the Southern economy depended entirely on enslaved labor. In 1859, abolitionist leader John Brown launched the famous John Brown's Raid. He attempted to start a slave uprising across the southern states and seized the armory at Harper's Ferry, Virginia. That same year, however, U.S. Marines attacked the armory. One raider was killed during the assault, and 7 more were later tried and executed. This event triggered violent turmoil across the United States. That same year, the western part of the Oregon Territory joined the Union and became the 33rd state of the United States. Its eastern section was incorporated into the Washington Territory. In 1860, Abraham Lincoln, who firmly supported abolition, was elected President of the United States and took office in 1861. That same year, 7 southern states seceded from the Union and formed a breakaway government, the Confederate States of America, also known as the Southern Confederacy. Jefferson Davis, who supported slavery, became president of the Confederacy. Confederate troops attacked the U.S. military installation at Fort Sumter in South Carolina, and the American Civil War officially broke out. After the war began, slave-holding states such as Virginia, Arkansas, and North Carolina also joined the Confederacy. Lincoln called on the states to send troops to retake the fort and preserve the Union. On July 21, the First Battle of Bull Run broke out. It was the first large-scale clash between the armies of the North and the South. That same year, part of the Kansas Territory joined the Union and became the 34th state of the United States. Parts of the Kansas Territory and the Utah Territory were separated to establish the Colorado Territory and the Nevada Territory. Part of the Nebraska Territory was separated to establish the Dakota Territory. On January 1, 1863, Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, changing the legal status of about 3.5 million enslaved people within the Southern Confederacy to that of free people. That same year, the Idaho Territory was established. Virginia was divided and West Virginia was created, becoming the 35th state of the United States. It was also the only state to split away from a Confederate state. Union forces won the siege of Vicksburg and gained control of the Mississippi River, thereby cutting the territory of the Southern Confederacy in two. Union forces also successfully captured Atlanta, Georgia. This decisive victory turned the tide of the war and laid the foundation for President Lincoln's re-election. The Nevada Territory joined the Union and became the 36th state of the United States. The Idaho Territory was divided, and the Montana Territory was established. On April 14 of the same year, President Lincoln was assassinated while watching a play. The assassin was John Wilkes Booth, an actor who supported the Confederacy and opposed the abolition of slavery. On May 25, 1865, the Southern Confederate Army was defeated and surrendered during the Appomattox Campaign, and the American Civil War officially ended. On December 18 of the same year, the 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution was formally proclaimed, completely abolishing slavery within the United States. The American Civil War is regarded as the first truly industrialized war in world history. During the war, weapons, railroads, telegraphs, and steamships all entered large-scale production. It was the deadliest war in American history. About 750,000 soldiers died, while civilian casualties cannot be accurately counted. It was through this difficult process that slavery in the United States finally came to an end. In the next episode, we will learn how the last few American states were established, how the United States participated in the two world wars, and how it became the world's greatest military and economic power. Thank you for your support.